Guys, patch 1320 is right around the corner, and it is a massive patch. We need to jump into this and talk about it. It's crazy. So here it is. I mean, you see that there's a lot going on. They did release patch 1319, which was supposed to be the world's patch, so I think they might have been holding out on some stuff, possibly. Seems more like a patch that's gonna be focused towards their goals for Season 14. We know that the mythics are getting removed, we know that for sure, and that's all we really got. Now, I want to start off with the most interesting thing in my opinion, which are these anti-snowball adjustments. So we have all the individual dragon rewards being nerfed. So this is Cloud, Hextech, Infernal, Mountain, Ocean. Kimtech is staying the same, but Kimtech's not a very good dragon or a dragon soul anyways. I believe it is the lowest win rate out of any of them. We have that information right here. Yes, so it's got 86% here as a win rate when you have Kimtech soul, and the rest are much better. So looking at this, all the individuals are getting nerfed. You can see the numbers here, but the dragon souls are all getting buffed. So all the actual, when you get the 4 dragons, it's getting buffed, the soul, and the individuals all nerfed. Rift Herald Gold getting nerfed as well. So we're seeing a nerf on both sides of the map. So we see a nerf on bot side of the map for neutral objective and top side for neutral objective. This is where things get a little crazy. We see the death timer and turret plate changes. Death timers are being reduced from levels 2 until level 9. You can see the individual numbers here: 2 seconds, 4 seconds, 5, 6.5 at level 8, and then back to 4 at level 9. Turret plate gold, 175 gold being reduced to 125 gold. Now, what does this do for a champion like Fiora or a snowball champion in general? It means that we're not going to be able to snowball as hard. So let's say if I get a solo kill in the top lane, I have less time to set up a freeze, to push a wave, to get tower plates. And if I get the tower plates are worth less gold. So this does hurt snowball champions. This hurts if I'm Fiora and I'm 3-0, I have like 200, 300 and less gold than I should, along with not as much wave control as I would like to have either. So that's very interesting. These 5 changes right here already show me that we're trying to make the game last longer. So by having anti-snowball adjustments, basically what this does, or I think what they're hoping that it does, is it stops people from FFing early, playing for the later stages of the game, because obviously the souls are buffed. So dragon soul is going to be more valuable, because I've had times where I'm in a game where we have 3 dragons and my team will still FF because it's like, 10 to 25 and enemies got Belveth with 15 kills. So, and then they FF. But with that extra addition to the more powerful souls, we might see these games going a little bit longer actually, which is kind of nice. But I don't like the death timer and turret plate thing. I don't really like this very much. Now we're going to look at the runes here. Basically every main keystone main rune is being nerfed beside the resolve tree. So that is Electrocute, Dark Harvest, Arcane Comet, Summon Airy, Damage and Shield, Fleet Footwork, Pressy Attack, First Strike, Taste of Blood, Conqueror, and Lethal Tempo. Conquer hurts a lot for Fiora. Now the thing is it doesn't really hurt that much just because every other rune is getting nerfed. But I will say there is one thing that is for certain, that stocks for Divine and Grasp are back up again. So we've been having such a good time with the Triforce in the stream, playing the Triforce on Fiora. It's been a blast. But once again, Divine and Grasp get a hidden buff because the resolve tree is untouched, even though in my opinion, I think the resolve tree is very powerful. I mean, you've got Unflinching, you got Second Wind, you have Demolish, you got Conditioning. You have so many good things in the resolve tree, and it's very interesting to see it not get touched whatsoever. So we know that for the next patch in 1320, that Fiora plus Divine and Grasp stocks are up again. So just something to keep in mind. It's already one of the most consistent, easiest to play builds for Fiora, and now it's going to become even better as everything around it gets nerfed. Baron HP, this is when it spawns, is going to be 12.6k HP, 180 per minute, to 15k, 180 per minute. So Baron is gaining 2.4k HP, meaning it's going to be a lot harder to shred it in the early levels. Like, when you want to go for like a level 20 Baron and go to end the game or something like that, it's going to be a little bit harder to do so. It's going to take much more time. I mean, this is about a 20% increase in HP. This is, if it takes you 30 seconds to take it, or 20 seconds, whatever, and you add 20%, that's another 5-10 seconds that it's going to take you to take that Baron, which is, once again, anti-snowball. It's going to make the games last longer. So just off this, I just want to mention this for like my champions, Fiora and Gwen. What does this do for these champions? It makes it much harder for us to snowball. So if we get 3-4 solo kills in the lane, we're not going to have as big of a lead as we would have before this patch. But since this is trying to make the game last longer, we are going to see a lot more games where we're able to reach our 3-item power spike when we get our core items. Those 3-4 items, when we get those big power spikes, we're going to see that happen more often, all the way from bronze to challenger. We're going to see games last a little bit longer, which is actually a good thing. So it's kind of a nerf, but it's a buff at the same time. So we're seeing what I would say is more of an adjustment, which is what it says right here. But for Snowball Champions, I don't think it's the worst thing ever. I do think it might suck, not feel as rewarding to get solo kills and plates in the early stages of the game. But at the same time, you're going to be able to get your power spikes, get your core items, and that makes the game a little bit more fun. We're going to move up now, and we're going to look at jungle adjustments. Now, I'm not really going to get too into this. I'm going to kind of leave this here and let you guys look at it. But this is just more, they're nerfing jungle, which, you know, Riot Freak was talking about jungle, and he was saying that they could nerf jungle by 15% and it would still be in a good spot. And I think they're trying to see if that's true and trying to implement it here. So we're seeing, they also, by the way, I had this video pre-recorded and then I'm re-recording it again because they changed so many things. They were going to take away smite from junglers so that you couldn't smite pets and you couldn't smite minions, which I think is absolutely the worst idea ever. I think it gets rid of creativity and skill expression when you see like Lee Sin and Elise and stuff like that who use their smite and then they hit like a caster and they want to hit their cocoon or their skill shot through the wave, so they smite it and throw it, and it's really cool. If you take that away, I think that's not good for the game. I don't like that. Also, smiting a minion can be useful when you need a level up, a quick level up to get level 6 or something like that, so I'm really happy that they reverted that change. But we're just seeing a lot of reduction, basically. We're seeing some reduction of damage for the pets, and we're also seeing camps getting more scaling HP, so they're going to be harder to kill as well. This is what I really want to look at here. Doran's and support starting items are being buffed. We're looking at like Doran's Blade HP going from 80 to 100. We're looking at 80 going up. So what does this do? It makes starting items basically set in stone. Doran's items and support items are going to be the go-to. Champions like Riven or Jace, any champion that wants to start a longsword or something like that, it is now much harder to do so and almost trolling, to be honest, because these aren't changing in price. They're staying the same price that they've been, but now they have more stats, so it makes them much more valuable. So if you were somebody who wanted to start a longsword, start a corrupting potion, start a tier, anything like that, it's going to be pretty bad for you because your enemy laner is going to have such an advantage against you in those early levels that I think this is I don't think it's the worst thing. I think it kind of creates like more of a neutral equal starting point for all champions, so I don't really mind it too much. I do think it kind of I think it kind of stinks for like a champion that wants to go, well, I really want to rush Dirk, like, you know, Kiana, something like that. I really want to get Dirk first. It stalls out because it's a power spike for him, right? Or Zed or whatever. It's a power spike for them to get that Dirk, get that little bit of lethality and that extra AD. That's a little bit of a power spike for him. So really interesting to see all of the Doran's items getting buffed. But to be fair, I don't think you could buff one and not buff the other. So we're seeing the blade, the ring, the shield, the dark seal, the sport items all getting buffed. So if you are somebody who likes to start longsword or anything else of that matter, you're probably trolling if you keep doing it after 1320. So just a heads up. Now, what we're going to look at up here, we see a little bit of buffs to some items. Ghostblade gets a little buff here, 3 to 12 lethality, haunt lethality up to 718. And then we see Duskblade get a small little nerf. It's not too crazy. And then we see Lord Dominic's get a bug fix, which maximum damage amp, this is when, you know, the enemy has less HP than you, is 25% down to 22%. We're gonna look at some champions here that I don't really, none of these really affect me too much. None of these are top laners besides Quinn. So you guys can look at this. Quinn is getting nerfed. I mean, I don't know. Quinn is only really good if she gets like a crazy lead. So I don't mind seeing Quinn get nerfed, but I think if you camp a Quinn, it's really hard for her to play the game. So I don't know. She doesn't really get played that often anyways, so I'm not too sure. Akshan getting nerfed as well. He's kind of an annoying top laner. So 2 ranged top laners getting nerfed. I mean, yes, nobody likes ranged top laners, right? I mean, so maybe that's a good thing for the people that are against ranged top laners there. We do see Bel'Veth nerfed. This is one that I really like to see, just because I think Bel'Veth is a crazy champion. I think Bel'Veth is an insanely powerful snowball champion. I think a lot of you probably agree with me. It's nice to see her get a nerf. Some of the buffs here, Morgana, I did see that they're trying to like rework her, so I think this might just be a test here, and they might even rework this champion. I saw August tweeting about this, so we might see a complete rework of Morgana. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is this Cassante rework. I really don't even want to get into it because it's just so, I mean, they are changing everything about the champion, and there is just too much here to really tell what's going to happen. I mean, from the general consensus, the things I've read from other people, I've talked to a few people that play the champion who have read these patch notes. It's a little bit all over the place. It seems like he's going to be just a little bit weaker at dueling, and he's also going to be weaker in side lane, like split pushing and stuff like that. Now, they're taking away a few things that I think, in my opinion, I don't even really play like Cassante, but I never like seeing champions get like their skill expression taken away. They are, where is it at? They got the R resets Q cooldown in stacks. So, you know, usually a Cassante will ult you when he has his empowered Q ready to go so he can knock you up and get a chain CC. Well, now he can no longer do that. Now it will reset the Q stack, so you can't do that. There's another cool thing that you can do with Cassante is you can tap W and it automatically stuns anybody who's in front of you, right? So you EW and you don't have to hold W. Well, they're getting rid of that as well. So you're going to actually, new minimum cooldown for W is actually going to be longer. You won't be able to tap. You won't be able to tap W to get a stun to guarantee yourself like an ulti into the wall or an empowered Q to stun somebody and knock them up as well. So this is all over the place. I really don't know how this is going to work because we're seeing like even some changes to like AP. Like he's getting AP damage in his kit for R and stuff like that. You see there's a lot of combos that are adjusted here. There's so much changing with Cassante that we'll really have to wait and see how he does in ranked. We're just gonna have to see, like flash disabled during Q3. There's a lot of things that are taking away from Cassante being a skilled champion. Now, obviously, is he an overloaded champion? Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot in his kit. He's quite powerful, but you only see the best of the best really maximize his potential, right? He's really good in pro play. He's really strong. He's very weak in lower elos. Solo queue, very weak champion. We see him start to get a lot better when the players get better and they start to understand the combos a little bit more. So this is just so many changes here and taking away. It seems to be that they're maybe trying to make him more of a utility tank. He kind of feels like he's becoming a utility tank reading this and less of like that duelist, that fighter that can take somebody out of the fight and 1v1 him real quick, which is an interesting concept for a tank, and I think Cassante's a cool champion. So we'll have to see about this. I'm not too sure about it. I'm not sure if I like it. I'm not sure if I dislike it. But like I said, anything that takes away creativity or skill expression is something that I usually am against. All right, guys, and that is patch 1320 video there. There's a lot of changes here. I am kind of excited. I think it's going to change the pace of the game a little bit, make games last a little longer, maybe give people more hope so they don't want to FF because you can scale it out a little bit harder and stay alive and not feel like the game is over early if somebody's got a big lead. So I think it's really interesting. I think it's a different direction. It is a lot of changes, but I think it's an interesting direction. We'll have to see how the player base responds, how the game feels, the game quality afterwards. So it'll be a fun one. It'll be a fun one. So let's see how it goes. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, peace out. Love you. Bye-bye.